Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Leeds United, for now, top of the table, back into the top two after Burnley faltered last night against Middlesbrough. 1-1, Leeds have gone, played Derby County today, and quite frankly, taken the ball off Derby County. Last time I looked, Derby had registered 0.02 XG. Now, I absolutely love this because of what Derby have inflicted on us before. And I'm not just talking about the changing room, despicable antics, but Frank Lampard, Spygate, all that sort of stuff. So I'll say this, and I'll say this first and lastly. It's a long way to Derby when you shit. An appalling performance from the Rams at Ellen Road, of which it's the worst team we've seen 100%, offering absolutely nothing. And do I want to stick that knife in a little bit and give it a little bit of a twist? I certainly do. We'll see you at Pride Park, fellas, in the new year. Excellent from Leeds United all way round, all ends up, and it's come to the conclusion of which we're all very, very used to right now. Should we have won the game by more? Should we have won the game by more? I think we're all of the understanding, we're all of the measure. Yes, we should have done. Leeds should have won that game 4-5. Joe Rodon missing the header on the penalty spot. Joel Peru, an unbelievable save from Zetterstrom, and I thought he was actually really good in the Derby goal. During the game, I thought he was. You look at him, and in terms of numbers, actually, he's probably one that's going to be picked off, probably quite similar to Johansson at Stoke last season by one of Johansson at Rotherham last season by one of the Championship boys. Who knows? Sunderland getting a win today as well. Everybody a little bit annoying when it was 1-1, but it doesn't matter. Leeds, top of the division. It doesn't really, you look at the equation right now. Burnley, I have to say, I'm not too bothered about being champions or this, that, and the other. I just don't care. I just want to be in that top two. So Leeds right now are in the top two. We played the same amount of games as Burnley. Can Sheffield United go above us? They certainly can. They've not got an easy task, though, going to West Bromwich Albion. But can they go above us? They can. They can go above us with a draw. But as long as we're in that top two, I don't care. Let's stay in this top two now. It's not going to be an easy task. Leeds have got the very, very difficult task of coming up against Middlesbrough on Tuesday, 7:30, which is going to be very, very arduous. It's going to be very long. And obviously, last time Borough came to Ellen Road, it was a 3-0 win. While they made 7 changes, we made 7 changes. It's going to be a really, really tough game for Leeds United. However, let's get on to the game analysis. If you guys haven't joined in before with the match game analysis, welcome. We talk generally sometimes, but a lot of it is a little bit more of a debrief of the game. So don't get too offended. A lot of it's not a general take. It is just analysing the football game that we have just watched. I've written down some notes during the watch along, and let's get into it, shall we? So let's touch on the man, Brendan Aronson, to start off with. Brendan, I thought was okay in this game. It was sort of dividing opinion a little bit. He kind of got a little bit of an assist, didn't he, for the driven ball in for Max Verber's finish. I thought Brendan was okay. I have to say, I think the reason that Leeds United go laterally a lot is maybe because we don't have anything in that pocket. Someone who's going to pick the ball, go on the half turn, and actually be devastating in those areas, just in that central number 10 pocket. And this is where I thought my man of the match maybe got taken off towards the end. But Joe Rothwell, I thought, was exceptional. Absolutely exceptional today. And I actually thought he was picking up the ball on his back foot and driving into the heart of Derby County. But I'd have liked to have seen that from Brendan Aronson a little bit more, picking that ball up and driving at Derby County. Wasn't doing it enough. I think Brendan sort of works on just getting into the spaces. I think his positional awareness is very good. I think picking up on the ricochets, he's very decent at that as well. And listen, I thought he was okay today. Was he incredible? No. Is it still of the level of which I need to still be a little bit more impressed by Brendan for my mentality of keeping him in the side with what we have now at our disposal in terms of options available? No, but he was okay today. But looking at the entire squad, I have to say, we have to touch on Joe Rothwell. Tanaka, I didn't think was amazing today. Didn't think he was great today. Some passes going astray, but he was ticking the ball over quite nicely. Picking up almost a little bit of a Gruev role today, I thought, in terms of maybe when the ball was on, he was just okay at keeping the ball, passing it between the centre-backs, becoming that sweeper midfielder as well, just dropping between the two centre-backs, getting the ball, moving it between the back line, not doing anything too outrageous, but I thought the man in the game who deserves way more flowers than he gets from our fan base, even from our social media. I'm watching the Leeds United social media in the first half, and there's not a single picture of Joe Rothwell, after such an unbelievable, I thought he was really good. Not unbelievable, but I thought he was very, very decent in terms of picking the ball up, driving Leeds forward. And the intensity was coming from Rothwell in that first half. The deliveries in were absolutely brilliant from corners on a very, very windy day. He put two out on an absolute sixpence for Joe Rodon, of which he should have had a double, shouldn't he? But I thought Rothwell was very, 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 very good today. And I have to say, we need to start giving him his flowers. The fan base need to start giving Joe Rothwell more flowers, more respect. And I tell you what, I was a little bit disappointed at the club's social media, not at least putting a picture out of him for his performance today, but yet putting a picture out of Altanaka, who out of the two today, I thought wasn't as good as Joe Rothwell. Come on, let's pick it up, shall we? But Rothwell, really good today. And you're looking at the entire team, and I thought Leeds was dominant. We were absolutely in complete control. They were diabolical. And I really thought if we'd have just had a little bit more pressure, I should say, on their back line and not been worried about what was happening, especially in the second half when the ball was just coming back towards their goalkeeper, because anytime they played it in the air, it was coming straight back to them. Thought if we'd have just been a little bit braver and pressed a little bit higher, we could have murdered them. And I thought there were points in that second half in particular where Leeds were pressing the ball high. Max Verber in particular on that left-hand side with Manor Solomon, and we were recovering the ball high. That's obviously how Joel Peru, got that chance, of which Zetterstrom made a very, very good save. Okay, so let's touch on Joe Rodon. Excellent. Absolutely excellent today. Sky gave him man of the match, and I have to agree with it. I mentioned Joe Rothwell, but I think he's just pipped by Rodon. Now, a lot of people are going to point to the obvious. It's going to be, oh, what a header it was, Connor, what a header it was. Yes, and I'm really happy for him. First goal for Leeds United. It feels like the first time he's headed the ball in an opposition box as well. But overall, the improvements that I saw with Rodon today, and first of all, what I will say is I think it was his best match in a Leeds United shirt for me. His percentages were exceptional. I don't think he lost a duel, even though Derby didn't come forward a lot. I thought he was absolutely dominant from set pieces in terms of defending that. He was organising the defence. He was barking at the defence any time Derby got up the pitch, which was quite rarely. But he was taking on that leadership role. But in possession was where I was most impressed with Joe Rodon, getting the ball, fizzing the ball into the midfield. And I think sometimes he's been pressured by the opposition. I think the opposition have been triggered into a press, not on Pascal Strauch's touch, because they know they're not going to get a lot of joy there, but on Joe Rodon's touch, because maybe out of the two, especially with Leeds playing out from the back, Joe Rodon is maybe the one who's going to make a little bit of a misstep. I thought his percentages on the ball today were excellent. He was pressing up the pitch as well, which I really like to see, going maybe 5 to 6 yards, a little bit higher than he normally does, which was evoking a little bit of confidence. And I thought that offered Derby another problem, because then the central midfielder has to come out to address the problem that is Joe Rodon, which then gives Rothwell and Brendan Aronson a little bit more space in those pockets. I thought he was very, very good. And let's touch on his goal, shall we? Yeah, look, the first one that he missed, I was raging. I was absolutely raging. The ball in was absolutely divine on his head, and he's not put it into the back of the net. It was a sitter, an absolute sitter. He's got to score. He didn't, but he made up for it, didn't he? He made up for it with an exceptional header. I thought it was a little bit harder as well. Glanced it, and it was actually a proper striker's goal, wasn't it? Bounced in front of the keeper. Could the keeper have done a little bit better, Zetterstrom? Maybe, but goes into the corner. 1-0 Leeds United. And then we went through a little bit of a period of, I thought it was probably Leeds' best period of the game, actually. Just before that, I think just before the halftime whistle, but maybe just after as well, that 10-minute period just after the half, which was actually really nice to see, because sometimes Leeds can come out a little bit sloppy, a little bit lethargic, with a lack of maybe dynamism. It just feels like they've gone in at halftime and they've just had a little bit of a chat between them. And it's like, come on, lads, we've got a game to finish here. But listen, I thought there was an intensity about Leeds United toward the back end of the first half and the start of the second half. And I thought that little block period was Leeds' best period. Leeds got the goal through Joe Rodon. And I thought from then on, we looked a little bit zippier, a little bit better on the ball, I thought, as well. You saw Leeds completing 1-2s between Bogle and Rothwell and James. I thought that little trio was really pulling Derby apart. And we just looked really good. And I thought at that point, this is going to be 3-4, 5-6-0, because they were struggling. They couldn't get out of their own half. And Leeds were on it. Leeds were absolutely on it. And then you saw Junior Firpo. I believe this was a little bit previously. But Junior Firpo went down, didn't he? And him coming off is interesting because obviously we've seen in his career at Leeds United, there have been injuries of which you're thinking, oh, is he ever going to get a consistent period? When he comes back, he's a little bit rusty. And we're going through that now a little bit with Junior, aren't we? Where it's a little bit stodgy. He's coming back, then he's out, then he's coming back, then he's out. And I think that's my only worry. I think that's my only worry with him. I really hope that with Junior Firpo, he's going to be able to get that consistency. Now, let's speak about the replacement in Max Ferber. Now, Max came on, I thought, when he came on against Luton, he was really good. Thought he filled in excellently. Look, he plays for Ralf Rangnick in a passing style with the Austrian national team. He was in a passing system last year at Borussia Mönchengladbach, which I saw live against FC Cologne. They like to pass the ball out from the back. So he's very, very used to what Leeds United will play. Now, on that left back, in that left back position, you know, you are asked to do certain things: underlap, overlap in a Daniel Farke system. You're asked to do that. Gets the byline, put quality balls in. I think his left foot is as good as Junior Firpo, 100%. But it's just that the agility, the speed. Can he get to that byline like Firpo can get to that byline? Because Firpo is an athlete. He's an athlete. I don't think Verber's got the athleticism that Firpo has. You know, a couple of stages in that half, he was blowing a little bit, but he's going to get that with match fitness. Match fitness. And if that happens, Verber's going to make himself maybe undroppable at points if he's putting in some really good performances as well. Now, the problem I did have with it is I have to say, I am expecting, and with the rumours that we've heard, let me just get a little bit of a drink, everybody. But with the rumours that we've heard across this period, with Red Bull and potentially Borussia Mönchengladbach as well, but mainly Red Bull. I mean, Mönchengladbach have essentially said that he's going to be a two-man target for them in the January period. So what I don't understand is why he's coming on. And you guys know with Max, I'm a massive fan of him. Massive fan of him. I'd have loved Leeds at points to go to a back three. That's not happened, which we saw in pre-season. But I'm a massive fan of him. But it's not future planning. The future plan is Isaac Schmidt. So Schmidt coming on, for me, would have made a lot of sense. You know, you're getting him exposed to a game of which Leeds United are probably going to win. He's going to have a lot of joy on that flank as well with Mendes Lang and a back three of Derby County, who are actually still, believe it or not, trying to push the fullbacks high. And I just thought to myself, that is a perfect game for Isaac Schmidt, really, at home as well. Not a lot of pressure. And I don't know what's going on there. I have no idea what's going on. He's on the bench. Let's not focus on the negative too much, but I do wonder if that was a 49ers signing. That's what I am going to say. I wonder if that was a 49ers signing, because I don't understand the future planning when you put in Verber in ahead of Schmidt for Leeds United. Maybe it's a case of putting him in the shop window, but I fully expect Verber to leave in January, especially with the noises that you're hearing in Germany. So I don't really get it, to be honest. Okay, so just speaking about Verber as well. Got the goal, didn't he? A really good bit of anticipation. We're speaking about the underlaps. We're speaking about the overlaps and getting himself into positions. Really, really lovely finish. You know, the ball came at him quite quickly. Aronson did really well in that little pocket, drilled it back onto the penalty spot. And what did it need? It needed a composed finish with his weak foot. Lovely little finish. Really happy with that. Really impressed with Verber's cameo again. Whole conversation right now is, where's the future planning? You know, what are we talking about here? Okay, so top of the table, Leeds United. We have to be happy with this. I'm elated with it. We've got back in there. I think the conversation right now for us Leeds United fans is Borough, which is going to be tough, of course, but then it's going to be the away game. So first task in hand is Middlesbrough. Dealing with them and beating them would be a real mark. You've seen Burnley struggle to do it, and they're a good team. They're a really, really decent team, Middlesbrough. So they're going to be a tough nut to crack. But if we can beat them, get on a little bit of a run, absolutely fantastic stuff. But we want these away results to be ironed out, don't we? But it's all about Leeds United getting that consistency. Before today's game, it was loss, win, 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 loss. That needs to be turned around a little bit. Look, the standards, the expectations of this Leeds United side is up here, quite rightly so. Football, a lot of the time, is played on paper, as we know. And look, I think that's going to be that's going to be key. You get the win against Borough, which I think is going to be tight, but Leeds should be able to get that done. You've got Ramazani. Maybe that's why he was holding Ramazani back for this one. Maybe that's why he was holding Willie Gnonto back. I know he's on 4 yellow cards, but you're holding some of those players on the bench back. Obviously, Ampadu didn't get a run out. Will he get a run out in December? You'd expect so at some point. It'll be interesting to see. Keep getting your comments in the section below. Brandon says, should have been 6-0. Need to start passing quicker and we'll rip teams apart. Joe says, 3 points and Derby are done over. Perfect. Screaming out for a striker. Mark says, better. Nothing to do with Mark. Players just better without being great. Nothing to do with... Okay, Mark. Okay, mate. Let's have a look. Stuart says, do not give me Perot apart from a snapshot. We might have played with 10 men. My man of the match thought Rothwell, Aronson, best game in a while. Rowley says, Connor, Rothwell and Rodon were great. Aronson won't give us much more than what we got from him today. I agree with you what you say there, mate. Grumpy C says, I don't think Rothwell cares if his boat race is on the laser. It's not about that, mate, Grumpy. It's not about that. I just think it's a collective. There's a collective. I want Leeds to give him his flowers, and maybe they'll do it post-game. It's not about what Rothwell thinks or what he feels like. I just want us to acknowledge. I've seen so much on this week. It's simple. You get Rothwell out and put Ampadu back in. Well, why is it simple? Why is it simple? That's what I don't understand. And what I'm saying is the social media site are giving Tanaka the big up all the time. Tanaka's been phenomenal. But let's not get away from the fact that Joe Rothwell has also been phenomenal. Let's have a quick look. We turned off at 2-0. I'm on the Yerba Mate as well. Good man, Yerba. Grumpy. Solomon, fantastic. Needs to start every game. Interesting. Mike says a pre-assist and an assist. I'm not sure what that is, Mike, when it comes to a pre-assist. Connor says, will the fan base please give Bogle more credit? Consistent, never present. Mr. Reliable. I love him. He's taken for granted. Yeah, another one as well, mate. You know, you heard on the show that we did this week, the brand new show that we brought to the channel, Battle Lines, Jimmy, saying that he'd have taken Alfie Gilchrist over Jayden Bogle. Yes, believe it or not, everybody, that is something that was said on this channel. Something else was said, that something that was also said on this channel by Jimmy, was that Bogle can't defend. And this seems to be a rhetoric from Sheffield United fans, not getting at Sheffield United fans. I don't know what system you had him in, but Jayden Bogle can definitely defend. He can definitely defend. 1v1 again today. Very, very good. Aggressive, winning aerial duels. I don't know where this he can't defend comes from. I really don't. Was that in the Premier League when you were in a back three? Maybe. But for Leeds United, there is a myth that some Leeds fans have taken on from Sheffield United fans that he can't defend. Go look at the stats. Go look at his defending numbers. Go look at him in possession. And once again, today, for me, he was really, really good. Sheza says, set pieces will be the difference when facing those low block teams. Exactly, Sheza. And it's a really good point. And look, when you look at Derby County, they were the team today who came into this game set piece wise, who'd scored the most goals in the division from set pieces. Not only did we deal with those balls into the box, which were rare, but still we had to deal with them. We had to deal with them, and we did. And Strauch and Rodon, I think, dominated when it came to that. But Leeds were winning the second balls as well, which is also really important. Not only that, when we went forward with the set pieces, we should have scored 2. There's an argument we should have scored 3. And a lot of that is down to the delivery. Every single ball that was put in was whipped or it was on the penalty spot. Guys, look at Arsenal and look at what they're doing in terms of absolutely hammering teams down with set pieces. Set pieces are a marginal gain that Leeds United have to stick in this with this championship season. That's now got Joe Rothwell up to 28 chances created this season. 28. And he came in at Norwich. Okay? Someone said back to me, with the greatest of respect, said back to me on social media, yeah, but a lot of them are set pieces. Well, you can't, but we all wanted better set piece delivery at the beginning of the season. We're all having flat balls in which were hitting the first man. So we've got to take this into consideration. Rodon 2 brilliant chances today against a team who are very good from set pieces in Derby County. We should have scored a couple there. As I said, maybe even 3. But the balls in. You look at what Arsenal are doing with Rice and Saka. Those balls into the box have to be perfect every single time. Genuinely, with Joe Rothwell, he's got a 98% success rate. That's not fact, by the way. But from the eye test, he's got a 98% success rate. You never see him really putting a flat ball in without any whip, without any pace, or hitting the first man. Doesn't happen. So we've looked way more dangerous in those situations for me. So get him out, get him out, get him out, get him out. Okay, well, you get him out, and then we're still gonna have more problems on set pieces, and also the dynamism he brings from midfield. I think that's very underrated for me. Okay. Corners are a lot on chance. A lot of plays in there. Players have to get there first and win their headers. So do defenders. Well, yeah, they are, Mark. But if it hits the first man every single time, or most times, like it was doing at the beginning of the season, which is actually backed up by fact, and we're having 3 different set piece takers per game, and now we have a consistent one in Joe Rothwell, that's not by chance. You're just not good at delivering the ball in from a standing position. Roland says, I hope we sign Rothwell on a permanent at the end of the season. He gives so much more from midfield. Good runner, good passing ability. Barry says, Verb was excellent when he came on. Ramazani has to start against Borough. Definitely. Let's have a look. Could Rothwell play in the 10? In a 10, I don't know. I don't think so. Don't think so. No. But in a flat midfield 3, with Rothwell being the most advanced. Because the thing is, Aronson does give you something. His movement's very good. I don't think he's the best on the ball at all, especially in those advanced situations. But he's a nuisance when it comes to ricochets. He's a nuisance when it comes to obviously picking up that second ball as well. And as I say, he's always in the box and ready. And that might sound simple to a lot of people, but positional awareness is just innate, really. You're following the trajectory of the ball, you're noticing the patterns of play, and you're moving into certain spaces. Brendan does that very, very well. He's just not that great on the ball. Rothwell is an out-and-out midfielder. He's a driver into the opposition space. I wouldn't change it. Right now, I wouldn't bring Ampadu back in. And I don't understand why. Look, subjective, but I disagree with the manager who will bring him back in. And and I know he's going to bring him back in. And I love Ethan. I absolutely love Ethan. But I'm just trying to look at the net positives here of Ethan coming back in. I'm thinking about Ethan and Tanaka. How's that balance going to work? Are we going to look a lot more defensive? Because I think we will, unless Tanaka gets a little bit further forward, and that's of instruction. But it looks like you can always tell by a player, just in the style of play, where they like taking up positions. And Tanaka likes controlling the game from deep. So who's the dynamic double pivot man there then? Is it Ampadu? I don't know if that's his strength. As I say, I love Ampadu. But there's one dynamic midfielder in there between Tanaka, Rothwell, and Ampadu from what I can see. It's a great problem to have. Fantastic problem to have. Has to be said. Our best attacking player was Ramazani. I agree with you, mate. I agree. Verba looks a class above at this level. The Borough game, his head wasn't in it. If he leaves or not, they are going to get performances from him. Yeah, Mr. Anthrop, I agree. You know, wherever a lot of these players go, they're going to be successful. They're going to be really, really successful. And you look at someone like Max Verba, he went on loan last season and he was much of Gladbach's captain. I think he's one of the best players, hence why they are still targeting him. Like 6 months down the line, 4 to 5 to 6 months down the line after the summer window, they're still targeting him. We'll meet the value then, or gives an exchange player. But more than happy with him. So, yeah, I think the Borough game is going to be an interesting one for Leeds United, and how we go about it is going to be a fascinating one as well. All right, guys. Well, that's been it from me. I really appreciate you guys following and subscribing to the channel. It's been an absolute pleasure. Even if I've been a little bit ill today, I hope I've come across okay. Loads of you are on the watch. Please, before you leave the video, slap a like on it. Let me know in the comment section if you agree, disagree with what I've said. It's been an absolute pleasure. We're going to be back tomorrow doing the full-time review as well. The full-time review of all the championship fixtures. Make sure you're waiting out and checking that one out as well, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure. Borough coming around the corner, everybody. So we'll get all your pre-match bits out for that as well. Thank you so much for joining. I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.